We're in trouble in America. We're losing our moral bearings. We're losing our respect for the rule of law. And you look around America today and things are bad and they're getting worse. We're broke. We're dispirited. We're scared. We've been moving closer and closer to socialism, further away from God, the Constitution, doing what's right in our own eyes, and all the while not noticing that it's killing us. It's killing our nation.
Just beginning.
Americans tend to be too comfortable, slowly but surely turning their backs on the sacrifices their forefathers made for liberty. Why is that? As bad as it is, as horrible as it seems, as unlikely as it appears that we can escape, what we're going through can actually be a vitally necessary experience for us, and one that is ultimately very healthy and liberating for this country. The truth needs to be told in all the dark places, because it's the truth that sets us free.
All right, WorldNet Daily is live. It is December 9, 2024, and there's a big shakeup happening in Syria. But not only that, folks, it is breaking news all morning right now, and we're going to get into that. We're going to shake up the show a little bit as well, because the news just keeps coming. We're a little bit delayed as we normally would be, but that's because we're just gathering all the pieces together, assembling all of the team together. We are going to get right into they apparently have caught the CEO assassin in Pennsylvania. We have an ID on him and some interesting things that were found on his person when he was captured. We're going to get into that. Of course, the Daniel Penny verdict dropped. He has been acquitted of his charges and will be set free from that. And then, of course, as we saw at the top there, the situation in Syria continues to evolve. Biden is sending apparently millions or perhaps billions of dollars in aid to support the new whatever is going on in Syria. And so we're going to get into all of that. I appreciate you joining us as always. It is Monday, and we have the fabulous Joe Kovacs with us today. Joe, good morning, sir. Your weekend, did you expect to wake up on a Monday to see all this happening?
I did not, as a matter of fact. It was kind of a slow news weekend, but it changed gears quickly today with virtually simultaneously two big stories happening. The verdict of the Daniel Penny case in New York City, and then just seconds later, the disclosure that a suspect or a person of interest, now being called a suspect and identified in the United Healthcare CEO execution, has been taken into custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione, 26-year-old, with a lot of things on him, including a weapon and a silencer. So apparently he didn't dump his stuff. He had it all with him, and he was taken into custody at a McDonald's restaurant in Altoona, eating a meal there. I'm not sure if it was a happy meal. It turned out not to be a happy meal for him.
Hello.
If that was the case. But yeah, it was an employee of the McDonald's that spotted this gent and alerted authorities, and police came and questioned him. He had at least one false ID on him, possibly more. The New York authorities just held a news conference about this. But yeah, it was an employee of McDonald's, not Kamala Harris, as far as we know. Or maybe it was Kamala Harris, who's working at McDonald's so famously. But she did spend a lot of time in Pennsylvania there.
Yeah, and then the New York Post had reported that he had, like you mentioned, he had a weapon on him with the suppressor as well. He had apparently maybe as many as 4 fake IDs. Apparently, there's a manifesto along with him, and this to me it seems like we've been searching for this guy for about a week, and then all of a sudden he just shows up at a McDonald's with all of this stuff on him. This doesn't seem to be somebody who is trying to not be caught. I mean, why would you have all of these things on you? I mean, if somebody spotted this person and then called the police and they searched him and they didn't find anything on him, then maybe he would have been let go. But they find all this stuff on him and say, "Oh, this is the guy," and it's not just hours after the assassination, Joe. It's days and days later that he has all this stuff on him. So, killers, getting into the mind of a killer is a thing that a lot of Americans like to do when we read true crime novels and watch television and movies and stuff. But this sounds like somebody that maybe wants to be caught, so that his story continues. If he does have some sort of grievance against this health insurance company.
Right. I mean, I'm surprised he just didn't walk into the Fox News studios or one of the major television networks to say, here I am. With a name like Luigi Mangione, you would think that he would be interested in Italian food rather than McDonald's, but he's not taking RFK Jr.'s advice. He's going to McDonald's. But, a lot of people go to McDonald's. This is a small town, Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's not like some major media market like New York City. He has ties to San Francisco, according to the New York City Police Department. And also his last known address is in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is interesting because the last would-be assassin of Donald Trump, the one that was caught here in my area of South Florida, his last known address was in Honolulu, Hawaii. Right. As well. So I don't know what the story is about Honolulu. And, Obama's chef is now dead and he was in Hawaii as well. But just throwing that out there for what it's worth. But yeah, all these strange things. It does seem like he wanted to be caught. Why would he be having the manifesto on him? Like he's toting around this backpack and he's got the manifesto in there. I'm still not sure what the monopoly money is all about. That was supposedly part of this story, except maybe part of the thing where people have to pay their health care in monopoly money because nobody can afford health care these days.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, here's how the story broke on CNN. Let's watch this clip about how it went down.
And police are questioning a man in the nationwide manhunt for the killer of a healthcare CEO in New York. Join us now for this breaking news is Brent Gingras. What are you learning?
Yeah, Pam, we're just getting this into our newsroom from sources telling John Miller and myself that there is a man being questioned right now in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That person is in police custody right now, undergoing that questioning by law enforcement officials. And what we've learned is pretty alarming. Basically, sources are telling us that working off of a tip, police stopped someone who was traveling by bus, and they were able to recover a suppressor, a number of fake IDs, according to one official, and also that same person is believed to also have fit the same description as all of those pictures that have been dispersed, of course, out into everywhere for people to help identify with this person. So this is a lot of information coming in right now. This is just breaking. Again, police questioning someone, a person in custody right now, believed to be possibly a suspect in this case responsible for that deadly shooting last Wednesday.
Yeah, and Joe, we have libs of TikTok. Once you know someone's name, the internet just goes bananas and trying to look up every single social media account out there and trying to put all the pieces together. One of the things that libs of TikTok notice is over on the book review website Goodreads is that he liked quotes from the Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski. That was another interesting fact here. And then of course, over on X, the global, the global index, we had this one up, the pictures of the guy. He also reminds me of, I was noticing this earlier, he reminds me of the star of one of Netflix's series, called You, which was a serial killer, series on Netflix that featured a really good-looking young white male, as the serial killer here, and so it's interesting to kind of to see that kind of play out here. I guess we're going to keep tabs on this. I'm kind of looking here to see, if anything more is breaking as I refresh the feeds on the devices here. But when you go back to like the idea that he had those apparently the casings, the shell casings from the weapon also had words on there that alluded to a book that was based on or about the health insurance agencies and how they treat their customers. At some point you kind of want to know, like, was this actually a just a disgruntled person? I mean, apparently he had like back surgery. I mean, there was x-rays of a back on his Twitter profile. I mean, is this, and then you have people, in the streets celebrating this act. I mean, is this where we're headed when people start heading out into the streets doing lookalike contests? I don't know if we have an image of that where people were doing lookalike contests. It's almost like the Joker, this sense where we're going after these CEOs of these companies for it's a little bit scary, to be honest.
I mean, the whole story is disturbing, and it does seem kind of like a Batman episode or movie. I mean, this did happen in Gotham City there, New York City,
right.
the big metropolis, early in the morning, before it's really bright, and somebody getting shot with a silencer or suppressor on the gun. And it was even more disturbing to see some people try to justify this murder because of people paying too much for healthcare insurance. I mean, healthcare insurance is expensive, but to see people saying, well, it's kind of justified, or we can understand what was going through the killer's mind, because we're all, being raped by the insurance companies, and we just lose our cool and go postal, this time not in a post office, but against the head of a major healthcare company. I mean, United Healthcare is, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's one of the biggest in America. And, we just can't have a society where you just go around shooting the bosses of companies or anybody. I mean, thou shalt not murder.
Yeah.
It is a commandment from God that we shouldn't be murdering anyone.
Right. And then real quickly, when we think about, it's funny, you mentioned going postal. I mean, that was a term that we haven't heard in a long time, but like it really begs the question when we look at our society as a whole. And do we have that? I thought we had the image of the lookalikes. Because I just don't want to see people going out there and thinking that this is the.
I know what we got ourselves into. Say hello, everybody. I just heard there was a cash prize, and living in New York, money's a little cheap, so I was trying to win a cash prize here.
How much was it?
What's up?
How much was it? $50?
It wasn't advertised.
Who do you think organized this?
The FBI. Yeah.
I just have a fucking green jacket. Come on, get in there. Yeah! Yeah!
Steal his lunch.
Yeah, it's disturbing. I don't.
It's kind of odd
know.
how much several of those suspects or several of those people there actually look like the suspect.
That's right.
When you got the bottom half of your face covered, you just see the eyes. Some of those folks did look like the assassin.
Yeah. Josh Turnbow, there's the light. The light comes on, and there he is.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Little late, but I'm here. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
Hey, Josh, we just went over all of the details, about what they found on him. We're almost looking at 6, maybe 5 or so days after the assassination. This guy shows up at a McDonald's with all of the necessary things on him to be arrested and assumed to be the suspect. A manifesto, the suppressor, multiple fake IDs apparently. It just and a memorable name, Luigi Mangione. I mean,
the Italian assassin.
Yeah, is that what this is? Is he the hitman? Is this? I mean, it sounds cliche, but his name fits the bill.
Did they? I didn't hear officially. Did they find the gun, or what did he have on?
A ghost gun. They say a ghost gun.
He had a ghost gun on him.
He had a ghost gun on. Which a ghost gun is a gun that's created outside of the normal, gun manufacturers. It doesn't have a serial number, basically.
Well, that would kind of answer all of our questions about like what he was
why
using,
was jamming and all that stuff.
Yeah, which has just been endless speculation on that.
Right.
Dude, and he's from Honolulu again? Hawaii?
Yeah.
What's going on? I really don't know how to frame it, man. It's a little weird. Did we talk about the back surgery thing yet?
No, go into that if you got. We mentioned it, but go into that if you have a little more insight.
I mean, okay, guys, just this is not official, facts or anything. This is just pure speculation on our part. But one of the early images of his Twitter account, and I think it was an older image, we're not really sure if we can share that image. I'm not sure if we can, Alex. It is a 3-part panel in his Twitter imaging. Look at the top of your profile. One is like of an anime character. I'm not really sure who that is. We need to dig into that. But the middle image is of an X-ray of back surgery, but pretty severe back surgery with multiple pins in his back. And then, of course, the other is him looking pretty fit in Hawaii, or it looks like Hawaii. So we're going to share that image here. You'll be able to see in just a second. So if you can see that image to the right, yes, where we're pointing there, that is, that's a back X-ray of a pretty severe break in someone's spine. Does that mean anything? We don't know. Hey, if you're young enough watching this, what is the significance of this weird anime character that's in there? That's maybe it's a Pokemon character, but here you can see. By the way, that looks like someone, with a washboard abs. To be honest, got back surgery. It's what it looks like. Right. I've seen that image myself a lot in the mirror, of course, Matt. But so maybe this will lead us to information about his own. Do we have?
There's a manifesto.
Do we have a manifesto?
They say they found a manifesto. They haven't published it yet, so we don't know what's in there.
Right.
He apparently liked quotes from the Unabomber Ted Kaczynski on Goodreads. There's a lot of interesting things to come out. And again, they just caught him today, so we're gonna have to keep tabs on this story as it develops. Some of this may even change.
Where did they catch
him?
Want
to do in where is that? Where is it? Do you know where that is?
It was at McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is toward the western side of Pennsylvania. It's a small market. And he was eating something there. They haven't identified the meal, but it was an employee there at the McDonald's who recognized him, apparently from all the media exposure of the Crime Stoppers photos, and alerted the local police. And the local police came out there and questioned him and took him into custody originally as a person of interest. And then when they see all the stuff that he had on him that allegedly connected him to the crime, then he was taken into custody.
I'm going to unofficially guess it was a female McDonald's employee that may have noticed him.
Well,
I was saying it could have been Kamala Harris because she did spend a lot of time in Pennsylvania in the last days of the election, and she supposedly worked there. So who knows?
We do have a photo of Luigi holding up a Happy Meal.
Yes.
So maybe we can share that in a second here. But so apparently he is a fan of McDonald's. This might be his go-to thing. But that being said, like I said, we got to keep tabs on this story. That we know this stuff will change as we move along here. So but the other big there it is. Yeah, big fan of McDonald's. It appears. Okay, well
that's not too long ago too, because that movie's in theaters right now.
Is that the Mufasa?
Yeah, it's the Mufasa movie. So that's not that long ago.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see. It's very fascinating. Okay, the other breaking news, of course, is Daniel Penny verdict. Joe, you want to walk us through, how we got to this point here today?
Right. Well, the jury had been sent home over the weekend, and the first thing this morning, I was kind of stunned how quickly it came, but they had been considering a lesser charge than the more severe charge to which Daniel Penny was facing 15 years in prison for the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely, causing all kinds of outrage some outrage throughout New York City, while other people were not outraged, saying this is the kind of thing that needs to be done. We need people to be good Samaritans and protect other people from folks acting dangerously in public, in this case, the New York City subway. So the jury over the weekend had this new charge to consider, a lesser charge of, I believe it was second-degree manslaughter, but it was a lesser charge than the original one. They came back with a not guilty verdict, and so Daniel Penny has been acquitted. Now, this has sparked all kinds of reaction from Jordan Neely's dad, saying the system is rigged, and he's not thrilled at all. We saw a Black Lives Matter leader in New York, calling for vigilante justice and saying, we need to rise up and stop this kind of thing. America hates blacks, going on, that meme again. So New York, it's a little bit on edge right now, but that's the end of the matter, unless Alvin Bragg, the district attorney in Manhattan, somehow decides to bring up some other charge. Now, would that be double jeopardy? A lot of people and legal analysts today on television are saying, yes, that would be double jeopardy. You just can't try a person over and over on the same or similar charges just because you don't like an acquittal. So that's where we stand right now. Daniel Penny has been found not guilty of the charges in his case, and the family members and Black Lives Matter are not thrilled.
Yeah. And we see this here, the libs of TikTok posting Jordan Neely's father saying that he misses his son. One of the other interesting things that came out about this story was, and this was another tweet, another post, that Jordan Neely was still alive when police arrived to administer aid. And so while Penny might have been the cause of him being, passed out or whatever, it says that the police, when they showed up, they didn't render aid because he was dirty and smelly, and they didn't want to risk getting HIV here. I do notice on here that there was a community note that mentioned that they didn't give mouth-to-mouth CPR, but they did pound his chest a bit. So it was kind of like a half claim here that they tried, but they didn't do as much as they needed to do to try and revive somebody in that situation, which is obviously unfortunate because he then died. But this is the type of that's the type of thing where you have to say, well, why is he being charged with murder in any of this when he was simply subduing somebody and saving other people? And if that guy hadn't done any of this, he wouldn't be in this situation. It's a big F around and find out moment for Mr. Neely, unfortunately. I gotta be honest, right?
You just can't get in people's faces, especially in tight quarters, public transportation. Nobody wants to be on the subway in the first place. So
not in New York.
Exactly. I've been in subways all over the world. In Budapest, Hungary, you could be a 9-year-old child late at night on there alone, completely safe. Nobody touches them. That kind of crime is not heard of. But here in America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, the richest country in the world, we have this kind of nonsense happening where I heard somebody on the one of the TV networks last week call it the God not me kind of syndrome, where somebody objectionable comes on there and everyone is praying to God, not me. Don't let that guy come near me, because you don't know how to handle it and you don't want to be a victim of a crime. So nobody wants to be assaulted when they go out in public. It's just obviously wrong, but when you live in a big city with millions of people, you have to adjust. It's not like living in Mayberry, North Carolina. You have to adjust and just be aware of the fact that there's tons of people around you. They're not always in a good mood. You don't know if they've had a bad day, if their dog died, if they broke up with their girlfriend, if they're on drugs, if they have a medical condition. So in the immortal words of Rodney King back in the Los Angeles riot days, can't we all just get along?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those would be, crazy people out there, you don't know when a good guy has had a bad day too. I mean, maybe Daniel Penny was at his wit's end and he was like, I'm done with this. If I see one more person do something like that, I'm going to take action. And then he did. And that's where we ended up here. Josh, any final thoughts on this, on the Penny verdict? I mean, let me ask you this, Josh, because I think the first charge was dismissed, and that doesn't mean, and it was dismissed without prejudice, so it could come back, like you said, Joe, Alvin Bragg. So, Josh, do you think that Daniel Penny's out of the woods here, at least criminally?
I sense that there's like less motivation by these evil people in power. Fannie Willis, Alvin Bragg, these people are a little nervous now. That Dad's back in town. Trump is putting a little bit of fear in the Daddy's back. He's putting fear in these people because he knows that the Trump Department of Justice will look down, and unlike the Biden Department of Justice looking to incriminate people based on their new interpretation of the law, will have the classic interpretation of the law. In the case where Daniel Penny was acting to protect people around him, not someone that has to go through a trial. And it's pretty sad. The other thought I had was, I'm really looking forward to the point where BLM means Bureau of Land Management again. And we can see that divided up and given back to the people, and not co-opted by this ridiculous fever dream that the woke left had for the last 4 years.
Yeah. And I just want to throw in there that as Americans, we should not be afraid to fight evil wherever it is, whether it's at the ballot box or it's on the subway. When people are threatening your very well-being and your life potentially, you do have the right and the responsibility to stop that. So, all this nonsense of people saying, oh, we can't have people, tackling other people. Yes, you can, when they are threatening. It's not just your own life, but there were other people on that subway. So, don't be afraid. Cowards are not friends of God.
Yeah, amen. And one other way to fight evil is to use your dollars, use your wallets. Patriot Mobile. How do you like that segue there, Josh?
Oh, it's a good segue, Matt.
It's a good one, right? You can fight evil. There? Yes, you can fight evil with your dollars by signing up your cell phone service. Get rid of these woke companies, these, and I won't name them, but you know what they are, and head over to Patriot Mobile. You'll have guaranteed coverage, and you'll be working with a company who actually donates. They donate money to conservative Christian causes. They are the only Christian conservative wireless provider. And they stand on faith, family, and freedom. And so we are proud to partner with them. Pull out your phone, scan the QR code, or visit patriotmobile.com/WNDpatriot and sign up with Patriot Mobile and free yourself from the shackles of big wireless tech. And put your money where it needs to be. Okay, great. Well, let's move on to Syria here. The fascinating thing, here's an image that was posted on X after being held at, this is interesting here, right? Because after being held at bay for 14 years, right? All of a sudden, the CIA comes in, removes Assad, the same way we removed Saddam, Gaddafi, and before Trump can be inaugurated. Biden announces that they will send millions of dollars. And where is this going to? I mean, who is in control of Syria? From the reports I read, you guys, it's a faction, an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. And I am beside myself because I thought for the last 24 years, Al-Qaeda has been our mortal enemy. And here they are, at least a faction of Al-Qaeda, taking over Syria, and we're just going to be sending money over there. Joe, what do you make of this?
Well, Assad in Syria was not a good guy, but are the guys taking over any better? I saw a report just before coming on the show that these people who took over and booted Assad out are now saying they're going to move into Jerusalem, Israel, and help free the Gazans who are being, allegedly oppressed by the Israeli government. So, millions of dollars potentially are going to be going to this group. Is it a money laundering operation? What is actually happening here? It's like Biden has all this money just to spend wherever on Ukraine or to send to the Syrian rebels. Apparently, the Americans are still suffering. Meanwhile, in Western North Carolina from Hurricane Helene, and they've got the winter coming up there, and they're hoping that the Trump administration helps get their act together because they need help. Americans need help, and yet we seem to have all this cash going to less than star citizens. They're not even citizens of America, but star citizens of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, the good news is though, is Trump posted on X, on Truth Social, this statement here. He said, opposition fighters in Syria, in an unprecedented move, have totally taken over numerous cities in a highly coordinated offensive, which to me, and I'm not reading here, it just speaks of like how obviously coordinated, but how long it took to plan this sort of thing. And now they're on the outskirts of Damascus. He goes on to say, Russia, because they are so tied up in Ukraine and with the loss over there of 600,000 soldiers, seems incapable of stopping this literal march through Syria. He ends this with saying the United States should have nothing to do with it. This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved. So we've got 40 some odd days, or maybe less now, before Trump is sworn into office. When he says this is not our fight, let it play out, do not get involved. I believe him, but that means that the deep state and the actors that are involved right now, they are probably going to ramp up in these final 40 something days. What do you think, Josh?
Matt, it's a little late, honestly. That's Trump's statement, do not get involved. But we just had Biden giving essentially an admission that the CIA is involved. And then we shouldn't forget, Jack Posobiec put up this image. It's very important. What's making nations do what they do? Energy security is almost everything. So in this tweet, you can see the red line, which was a previous plan, the green line was Iran's plan to have their pipeline go to the Mediterranean coast through the countries they had made deals with. And they are aligned with Assad, so they knew they could go out of his coast with their pipeline. That's not going to happen under America's watch, okay? What they did instead was they turned on the Qatar pipeline through Syria, which they could not do with Assad in power, that goes through Turkey. Who is involved in propping up these militia groups? We know that Turkey is secretly behind it. So this looks like it's kind of weird because to do it, they stabbed Russia in the back a bit. Russia values Syria as an ally because of oil, but also it has 2 strategic ports in Syria for their navy in the Mediterranean. So this looks like a big CIA op. What a shocker. Trump saying we shouldn't be involved. We're involved. This is like a long-standing plan. We've been hearing about this forever. They just pulled the trigger now because they're out of time. Why are they out of time? Because Daddy Trump is back in office.
Yeah.
So they made this move, and I'm kind of gonna go. I want you guys to comment before I go to one other element of this that I think is, my favorite thing, which is be the weird biblical potential.
Oh, I want to hear that too, but but real quick, one of the things I think that Trump is talking about is like we are not going to be sending troops over there. We are not going to be sending millions of. I mean, Biden is going to do what he's going to do, but we are not going to be sending money or troops to Syria to fight in this war. This is not something that America signed up for. This is not something that Donald Trump ran on. And we certainly are not going to have that when Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard are at the helm over there too. What do you think, Joe?
Well, Josh alluded to something biblical. I'm not sure what he's going to say, but the Bible does talk about in the end time, Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, and armies implies more than one army, and you could have several nations coming into that region, especially in Israel and Jerusalem itself, and does. The war for oil, power, what is the vested interest in there? Israel itself is not, it doesn't have like all these natural resources like America has, or Russia has, or Canada has. It's a tiny country the size of New Jersey. So I'm not sure if this is just like a chess move toward that, but it is, I think you were right when you said that Big Daddy has arrived back home, and this had to be done now before Trump got into power, because it wouldn't have happened once he is in the White House.
Yeah. All right, Josh, bring us home here. Go biblical.
Well, okay. So, I mean, some people like sports. I like biblical prophecy and prediction stuff. It's my favorite thing. And there is the name of Damascus appears in primarily, it pops up in Isaiah. I think it's let's pop that up. Is it 11? Isaiah 17:1.
Yeah.
17:1. Yeah. So this has been argued about by biblical scholars for a long time. And did you guys have that? The full? Essentially, I'll read it. Let's see here. Isaiah 17:1, which says, "See, Damascus will no longer be a city, but will become a heap of ruins. It's like the ancient city." Okay, so that's just a quote that came from the thing we found. But essentially, historians will agree, not all, that Damascus has never been destroyed as a heap of ruins. And the scripture goes on, I was hoping to have the rest of that, to say that there'll be no longer people dwelling there. This was always a crazy idea because forever people like Chuck Missler, if you know who Chuck Missler is, hit Missler in the comments. Chuck Missler said Damascus has always been a city since the Apostle Paul was there. It has been a city in one form or another. It's been sieged many times, but how do you take a modern city and essentially obliterate it? And so there was always discussion on maybe this is referring prophetically in the future to nuclear weapons or chemical weapons. But this new thing with rebels controlling Damascus is really interesting because there's a new element here, guys. And that's this. If there's enough fighting in that city, people will flee. And it may stop and become like the Taliban's control of a city, kind of like Sharia laws put in place officially. But this gives the Israelis full access to do any strikes they want on that city. It's no longer a government that can run to the UN. It's a bunch of tribal Islamists that have taken over. This is the opportune time for Israel to pound Damascus, and they already hit the building, their secret police building, which people are saying was an immigration facility. They also hit a chemical weapons factory, a known chemical weapons factory in the city. They're not going to stop. What if it would be really fascinating to see if this leads us to a place where Damascus stops being a city, really, and it starts to just become a shell of a city. Long take, but can't help but look at it.
We can't help but look at it. I mean, that's why it was written down. I mean, this is stuff that guides us. So,
biblically speaking, there is another city that literally means heap of ruins, and that is the ancient town of Ai. And I'm spelling that and saying it exactly how it is. It is called Ai, and it means heap of ruins. So I don't know if there's a metaphoric parable connection there, but
dang, Joe, that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. All right. Well, if you are going to go down those rabbit holes, sometimes you do that when you're lying in bed and you're sick and you've got a cold or a flu. And that is why you need the Zelenko protocol, folks. You need to go over to get to Dr. Zelenko's website here, the late great Dr. Zelenko. He has this Z-Stack. And this will protect your family and yourself and boost your immune system. You need it prepped and ready. Dr. Zelenko offers immune-boosting supplements like zinc and quercetin to naturally defend against sickness. So consult your physician. We are not physicians, but consult your physician and head over there, scan the QR code, go to the description, the link in the description. And if you want to get 5% off, you use the promo code WND. And you can choose one of these protocols that's right for you and your family. So head on over there for that. As I put up another win for the segue with Josh there.
This is a good game, Matt. I mean, you're betting 1,000 right now. It's a good game, though. Like, just
Well, the other thing too, though,
transition.
Yeah, but the other thing too, though, we have to remember, and Joe, I don't know if you've seen this yet. Like when you're watching the world just crumble around you, one of the best things that you need to have is that 12-degree angle on your grip. We're gonna do 2 in a row right here. The Frico over at Frico. Get yourself the Kung Fu grip, Joe. This is it goes on the AR platforms, your M4 platform. You've got these 4 different colors here. Scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the page where you can get yourself a Kung Fu grip. These come in fantastic, very very cool looking packages that fit nicely in a stocking for Christmas. So that's Frico. They're out of New Hampshire. Scan that QR code. It'll take you right over there to the Kung Fu grip. We have something just in here, just over the wires as we get ready to close the show here. Over on X, Colin Rugg posts Daniel Penny and his lawyers interviewed by the New York Post as they celebrated a not guilty verdict. He was trying to help people on that train.
Yeah, they're
and
like
he
dinner
did.
or something already.
Lunch? Do we want to? They're celebrating. Is this do we want to listen in?
Yeah,
on
let's pop it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
How you feeling? Yeah.
He's feeling good. He's feeling good.
What's up? Come together. How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry?
You can't ask the lawyer that.
We think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the important thing is it happened. So we can't control the timing of it, but we can certainly savor the outcome.
And why do you think it was not guilty?
That's good. That's that guy.
Well, he's not guilty on a few different reasons. Because his actions were justified. He was trying to help people on that train, and he did. And number 2, he's not responsible for the death because the death was caused by a lot of other factors that we tried to present with a lot of clarity, such as the K2 abuse and the sickling crisis, and cardiac issues, not to mention the paranoid schizophrenia, which only added to that impact. So I'm just glad that the jury was able to truly evaluate that as a potential cause of death, and that Danny was justified in the actions that he took.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
Poor Daniel Penny was like out of there.
Yeah, he did not. Doesn't seem like he wants the spotlight for any of this. I mean, what at least right now, what a trying time. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Kyle Rittenhouse and what he went through,
right?
And the verdict that was. I mean, everybody was on pins and needles for that one, Joe. And I think this is very similar, don't you think?
It is similar, and the thing is, I don't think this case is over because he faces a civil trial from the family. So, irrespective of him being acquitted here, he could be found liable, financially liable in the death of Jordan Neely. So, he has to live with this the rest of his life, no matter if he's completely cleared or not, or he has to, go through another trial. And, when you go through another trial, you're going to have to go through all these witnesses again. And it's basically a repeat of what we had here. So I salute the acquittal. I salute Mr. Penny. I think he did the right thing by stepping in. Again, we can't be cowards in society. When we see evil, we have to fight against it. And I think he did the right thing.
Great point, Joe. Random thought here, guys. Are we going to see this Luigi guy be in front of a jury in New York? At some point, I mean, this jury returned the proper verdict that we want to see. Like it seems just.
Yeah.
But this Luigi murderer guy, it's got people on all different sides of it.
Yeah,
like,
and it's going to take a few days at least. I mean, if being found in PA has got to be extradited and go through the extradition process to go over to New York and be arraigned. But
there's only a trial if he pleads not guilty. So he might have wanted to be caught here, with all that manifesto stuff, and he'll reach a plea agreement of some kind. But
yeah, good point.
Only trials for people who plead not guilty.
Right. Yeah. Well, at the very least, he'll find himself in front of a judge now that he's been taken into custody. So I think that's it for where we're at right now. I mean, until these things evolve over the next few days, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Please head over to worldnetdaily.com, WND.com, to follow these stories. Joe, what is the latest you're working on, if anything, and where can people follow you?
Well, I was dealing with all the breaking news today at WND on both these stories. But yes, worldnetdaily.com is where you can find most of my work. I wrote a couple of stories yesterday on the Sunday shows, whether it was Maria Bartiromo's show, Sunday Morning Futures, where President Trump actually appeared on the NBC show Meet the Press, which was a big coup for them. It was his first sit-down interview with a major network, and I wrote a story about that. You could see the questions that were posed to him by Kristen Welker, who Trump originally said was a biased reporter, but after he had a debate on NBC, that he said that she was fair. So worldnetdaily.com is where you can find most of my work. I also am on Twitter. At Joe Kovacs News is my handle there. And I have a Bible-related website called reachinggodspeed.com, reachinggodspeed.com, all one word. And you can get completely inspired by what's in the Bible there.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Okay, good. Josh, we're going to remind everybody where they can follow us and keep track of everything. And then,
absolutely.
And then we'll let people go with something Trump did when he just visited France, and we're a little bit concerned about what happened over there. But we'll get to that in just a second. I wanted to tease it a little bit before you let everybody know how they can stay in touch.
Yeah, if you watch today, we really appreciate it. We want you to come back with us Wednesday. We're Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. But in between, Joe and the team are covering all the news over at worldnetdaily.com or WND.com. Also, if you would, we always ask, Rumble, we're really active on Rumble. We'd love you to go follow us over there. And you can get there by clicking this QR code or just looking up WND Newsroom on Rumble. We'd love you to click the green follow button, everybody, like and comment. And then also over on X, we're going to be breaking all the stories there too. If you like X, you will see the stories and all the breaking in between. And follow us over on our X account. We really like X. We're trying to put as much stuff over there as we can. Also, like other stories, like there's a huge Jay-Z story, a little bit like weird. There's like this weird overlay now of pop news becomes slightly potentially criminal. And we cover that kind of stuff over at the WorldNet Daily Instagram account. We'd love you to go over there, especially if you like this kind of stuff, like this pop culture stuff. That's over there. And the most unfiltered is always going to be at the Telegram channel. We'd love you to go over there. That thing goes off all day long, and I'm always excited to see that there's video there that was usually censored earlier. And if you're not up for that, I understand. But like, for instance, almost all of the video of the now who we know, like the Luigi murderer, all of his video of him shooting the other fellow, which it wasn't graphic per se. They were blurring different elements where you couldn't see what was going on. That won't happen over at Telegram. So we'd love you to go over there. If you made it through the show this far, we really appreciate it. And that's all for me.
Yes, great. All right, well, let's go out on this. When let's watch. Trump gave Macron a firm handshake when he visited France. Let's watch this. Let's watch the tape. And then apparently he went and got an X-ray on his hand, and oh my goodness, pretty rough there. But it's that kind of masculinity that really draws the ladies. Don't you know that, guys? And it really drew in Jill Biden. Trump was at the opening of the Notre Dame, and he was sitting close to Jill Biden, and she had eyes for Trump there. If everyone had someone that could looked upon them in the way Jill looked upon her.
Did Trump actually tweet this? Trump did tweet this. He used the press image to say, "The fragrance your enemies can't resist." Is that a real cologne?
That's a real cologne.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
that is his new fragrance.
That's the capitalist troll there.
I mean, incredible. He
apparently it would have worked for Hitler in his day too, because they called Trump Hitler. So here she is smiling and getting the aroma of the Fuhrer there.
Yeah,
Matt, what does Trump call that when he does that? What's he say? We're doing a little trolling.
Oh yes, we do a little. Oh man, I didn't even have.
Oh, you didn't have it.
Oh yeah.
We do a little trolling.
There you go.
That's right.
Love it.
That's right. Very good. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's always good to see everybody on here, and thanks for commenting. Be sure to always do that and share this episode. Share it around. We're not just here to do this live. We're here to do it all day long. So you can watch us. If you're watching us later on, you can join us live, or you can just share the video and share the clips, and we will see you tomorrow, or I'm sorry, we'll see you on Wednesday for the Wednesday show. Thank you very much, everybody, as I'm tongue-tied here.
Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday.
We do a little trolling. It's called We Do.